Hi and welcome to another tutorial. In today's lesson we'll learn how to recreate this cool looking long shadow text effect using Adobe After Effects. So anyways guys, let's jump in. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to install the MotionShadow preset into your Adobe After Effects. So to do this, you need to go to the website which appears on your screen, studioblue.tv, and you need to download the MotionShadow preset. Once you have it, you need to find this directory on your computer, and then you need to drag and extract that preset to that folder. And if you've done that correctly, it will show up just like I have here inside of After Effects. So now that we've got that out of the way, what we're going to do is we're going to use and create the long shadow right now. So I'm just going to click on a new composition. 1920 by 1080 pixels will be fine, and I'm just going to press OK. The next thing that we need to do is I need to come over here and create a new solid for our background. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab our gradient ramp and I'm going to drag it to that solid layer. Now I'm going to go to color hunt and I'm going to get some colors for our gradient. So I'm going to choose this color scheme. So I'm going to maybe pick, maybe these two colors, and we'll see how that looks. So once you've got your colors and you've pasted them in, you can play around with some of the settings if you want a radial ramp, but I'm going to start the first color on this side, and then I'm going to start the other color on this side, and then you can move it around. You can give it whatever values that you like. Anyways, once we've done that, then what we need to do is we need to come over here and create some text. So I'm just going to write motion. Now, the font that I'm using is Bebas New, and I'm using the bold version. I'm not putting any spacing in between because I actually want the text to come out a bit with the long shadow. I'm just going to bump up that size. So I'm just going to go to the align tools and make sure that that's in the center of the document. Now I am going to go to color hunt and I am going to change the colors to something that was in the color scheme, and that's that nice whitish kind of color. So now what we need to do is we need to search for our preset that we've just installed, MotionShadow. Now if it doesn't pop up, you'll need to go back and re-put it into the directory and maybe even restart After Effects. All you have to do is drag it down to your layer and you can see how it creates the long shadow effect. This is very similar to the red giant long shadow effect, but this one is actually free. So you can have a look at some of the settings. If you want to change the opacity, you can change that here. If you want to change the distance, which we'll be animating in a bit, you can change that up here. And if you want to change the angle as well, you can change that here as well. Now what's really cool about this is you can set a gradient. So now you've got two colors in your long shadow and you can animate that as well. And you can also change some of the feather settings, which softens it on one edge. So now once we have that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some motion to our long shadow. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bump up the opacity to, let's say, 40%, just so you can see it a little bit better. I am going to keep it as black, but you can change it to whatever color you want. So now all I'm going to do is a very simple animation that will drag this distance in and out for the duration of my composition, which is 10 seconds. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on the stopwatch and I'm going to put the value to 0. So it's going to start off without. Maybe I'll start it at, let's say, 5%. So it starts with a small drop shadow. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold shift and press page down, and then I'm going to bump it up to, let's say, 20. And then I'm going to do the same thing again, but this time bump it back down to 10. And then I'm going to repeat that process again and just bump it up to 40. And then I'm going to bring it back down to probably 20. And then it's going to rest at its final spot, which is going to be back at 5. So if I press U on my keyboard, now you will see all of those keyframes. And so if you want to change some of these keyframes, for example, if you want to go in here and change this to a larger value, you can just click on it and it will change to that. Now, obviously, this animation is very fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight all those keyframes, hold Alt, and I'm gonna drag it to about 2 seconds. So I'm just gonna slow it down a little bit. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to easy ease these keyframes, and then I'm gonna go to the graph editor, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm in the speed graph editor. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on each one of these points, and I'm gonna bring them closer together so you have this really rapid rise in the animation. So I'm just gonna click on these points, and it might be a little bit finicky, but what we're gonna do is we're just gonna bring them so close together. You don't have to get them all the way together. And once you're done with that, then we're gonna preview that animation. And you can see that now it's created a little bit of acceleration with how it looks. So it kind of zips in, zips out. Now the final thing we're gonna do to this is I'm just going to hold Alt and click on the stopwatch, and I'm gonna add a loop out expression. So to add the loop out expression, what I need to do is I need to come over here, go to property, and then just go to loop out, and we'll click this one. And what that does is that it will continue that animation all the way for the duration of the composition. So now it goes in, goes out, goes in, goes out, goes in, goes out, and it's looking pretty good. So the final thing that we can do to this animation is we can add an adjustment layer, and we can add some noise to this. So if I come over here and double click the amount of noise, bump it up to about 10%, now you can see that it's got like some noise with it, and I think that looks pretty cool. So anyways guys, that is a very quick tutorial on how to create a long shadow using the MotionShadow preset. Thanks for watching, hope you learned something, and I'll see you guys next time.